What's in the drinking water there? Fox Business exclusive with NASDAQ President Nelson Griggs. And you join us, and this is an interesting trick here. The market is down, but the stock for you, NASDAQ, is hitting an all-time record right now. I find that really, really fascinating because it looks like this IPO lift is really helping in many ways.
Yeah, well, great to be here, Liz. It's been an exciting year. We had a little slower start to the year in Q1, and then as we saw at the April lows, the market really started to take off. I think this certainty that the market was getting, this combination of trade, lower taxes, as well as the regulation part of the marketplace is something that's being well received. So that lets the IPOs know that the window's been open. And we're going to see a very strong, we believe, second half that really kicks off post-Labor Day. But we're excited about NASDAQ. We're doing great as a company, but also really the markets being strong is very exciting to see.
I know you love it that you're beating the New York Stock Exchange in IPO listings, but I really am interested to know, to what do you attribute that? Is it something that you're offering? You guys have better pastry on the opening bell ringing day?
A lot more than pastry. We've outperformed the last 6 years. We've had more capital raised on NASDAQ than any other exchange in the U.S. And we look at it as this long-term plan to really focus on helping companies be better public companies. We have the largest service that helps them understand their investor base, who to target for investors. We focus a lot on the brand visibility. So we have this amazing facility in Times Square and an incredible marketing team that helps them think through how they project themselves to the world as a public company. And then, of course, if you look at the names on NASDAQ, they really are the global leaders in terms of the future. So we have the largest 7 companies in the world listed on NASDAQ. So it's a combination of things. We don't take any of that for granted. We're very excited about where we are today, but we're focusing all the time on how we make our offering better and better for companies.
Well, back in the 1999-2000 go-go era, you guys were the cool kids. You had the cool table. And then, listen, everybody got hit by a drought.
Sure.
This is after the SPAC excitement back in 2021. But tell me how the second half is looking for IPOs.
Yeah, so we feel very good about the pipeline. There's over 200 companies on NASDAQ that are filed to go public. I think as long as we can see this certainty in the marketplace, both the markets as well as companies want to operate in an environment of certainty. So we see that backed by the fact we had the tax bill passed. I think some regulatory changes are very positive. We see a lot of excitement around digital and the digital assets as well as AI. So there's definitely an enormous amount of enthusiasm. And you're seeing it come from fintech, seeing it come from the digital asset space, as well as enterprise software. So we're excited about it.
Is what could be the biggest publicly listed company on planet Earth coming, and that would be OpenAI. What have your conversations been like with Sam Altman and the team to eventually be their home base for an exchange?
Yeah, we never talk about a company.
Notice how I tried.
I appreciate that, Liz, very much the way you phrased that. But I think we talk to every company out there about the pros and cons of being public, as well as the bankers do and everyone else. So if you think about any company that gets to be size and scale that could be public, their question in their mind is, what's the right time to do that for their shareholders, for their own, how they operate their company. And we are seeing companies stay private longer, but if you look at being a public company today, you do that if you want sustained, consistent liquidity. And I think NASDAQ offers the best place to do that. But we are also very focused, working with regulators, the SEC today, about how we make sure that the environment is not too overregulated. And there's some opportunity there we see with the new SEC to make some improvements there.
Well, overregulation is something that's hurting the London Stock Exchange.
Yes.
London Stock Exchange has actually lost a lot of business compared to what you're doing, what, say, for example, the Hang Seng is doing, the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. What do you think the problem is there? I mean, we're watching the potential for a company like AstraZeneca, which is listed on the London Stock Exchange, the big pharmaceutical company. They're annoyed, and they are making noises about moving.
Yeah, well, companies focus on where they're going to get the best valuation for their stock. And that's probably the primary thing that a CEO or board will think about. So if you have a marketplace where the investors are going to be more conducive to paying more for growth, that's what we have here in the U.S. And we just, as the U.S., we need to be thinking about what do we want to keep doing that we do so well. And that's to provide a regulatory environment that protects investors, but also balances what we make corporate America do. And if we have that backdrop, along with very smart regulation, combined with certainty in the marketplace, the U.S. does an amazing job about building companies and letting them do what they do best, which is grow and create these awesome products. So we're fortunate.
I referenced the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. They've seen some interesting inflows of IPOs. I believe they jumped 8x over the past year. They had $14 billion in roughly the first half, 43 new listings. That's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, it's pretty impressive here. Price Waterhouse is forecasting up to 100 IPOs in Hong Kong this year, total fundraising to exceed $25.5 billion. When you look at the global exchanges, do you see them as competitors as well?
We operate, our software at NASDAQ actually also powers about 130 exchanges globally. So when we go into a marketplace, first and foremost, we think what's going to make that a strong market and how do we partner with them? We will always then talk to companies that are domiciled there about what's the benefit of their local market as well as what's the benefit of the U.S. market. Typically, you see the Hang Seng will be a lot more traditional industries will focus on listing in Hang Seng. If you're going to be a growth-oriented company, technology, healthcare, et cetera, usually the U.S. is probably the preferred destination. But every market has its own value, and certainly the Hong Kong market does a very good job.
Well, I know that our parent company, News Corporation and Fox A, we switched from the New York Stock Exchange several years ago to the NASDAQ. I guess it's who gives you the best deal and the best opportunity.
Hopefully it's who's the best partner for the long term. So we've been thrilled to have Fox on NASDAQ as well as News Corp. Mm-hmm. We've had over $3 trillion in market cap switch to NASDAQ over the last basically 10 plus years or so. Some of the biggest companies in the world, Pepsi, Palantir, et cetera. But we're very honored to have Fox on NASDAQ.
Yeah, sure. And let us know when SpaceX decides to list on.
The minute I can start talking about names, Liz, I'd love to come back.
Please.
Sure.
Yeah, because you were here on the day that the NASDAQ stock is actually jumping to a record high. So you do have to come back if you want to see that.
Anytime you'll have it. Anytime you'll have it.
Nelson, good to see you. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.